I have a question for you. How many times have you caught yourself overthinking things? Stuck in an endless loop, trying to contemplate the best possible scenario in order to take a decision and getting caught big time in paralysis by analysis. Hello, friend. I'm your host, Alicia Carrasco. I'm an entrepreneur, author, wife, and mom of two. And let me tell you that I can totally raise my hand here and say, yes, this is me. I've been there more than I'd like to admit. I've been there as an artist, as a writer, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a mom of two. And actually, I would say I've been there for almost every significant role that I play in my life. I've been there at some point. Actually, to be completely honest with you, over the past year, I've found myself caught up on that endless loop several times, specifically in my writing career, trying to figure out what would be the best next step to take, right? After writing my first book 2 years ago. And that's funny because I know the theory and I know that the key to advancing your path of personal evolution is by taking constant action and balancing both your thoughts and real action in order to acquire real experience in the physical plane and at the same time gain those valuable insights that are going to guide you on the next steps that you need to take. Over the years, I've applied this countless times and I really know it works because that's how actually today I can say that I'm living a life that it's really in alignment with my inner self and my purpose in almost, I would say, almost every area of my life. But still, with my writing career, I've been struggling with finding that next move, and that's because I needed a deeper introspection to understand fully why I was experiencing that internal blockage. So, I want to share with you today the process that I followed to get rid of this paralysis by analysis that I was experiencing too often in this particular area of my life that actually was blocking my creativity and also even started to have side effects in everything else that I was doing in my life. Because for me, writing is the way that I connect with my creative power. And it is when I actually find my core, my center. It's kind of my self care ritual when I'm expressing myself through words. And during all those moments of overthinking and over worrying about taking the best decision possible and not taking action, I was slowly but constantly separating myself from this core, from this center. And that's a very dangerous place to be, in my opinion, because what follows next, if you keep doing that for too long, is the lack of motivation, the lack of purpose. And I knew that I didn't want to take that route. I'm sharing this with you today because even when you know the theory, life is life. And sometimes you get caught up in these loops very, very easily. And like you, I have my good and my bad moments. I'm sharing with you today this because I found out in those moments that the most important thing to have towards yourself is compassion and to be able to stop, generate a space to observe and be curious about what you are experiencing at that moment, what you are feeling. And from that perspective, without ego involved, that's the most difficult part. Try to find out the answers that you're looking for and that have always been inside you, of course. So the process that I followed started with asking myself these questions. Why am I overthinking that much? Why am I caught here without being able to move forward? Simple questions, right? So let me tell you that for the past few months, I've been asking myself these two questions to find out over and over again the same excuse based answers. I used to answer and convince myself of the following. Well, it is important to make the right moves, and I don't want to waste my time here. That's why I'm thinking that much, right? Or I used to answer like, it's important to assess all the possibilities and decide the best option to move forward because I'll be spending time and resources in that direction, right? And I want to be as much certain as possible that I can succeed indeed in following that specific path. And of course, I was answering those questions with my ego involved. not really wanting to really be honest with myself. And I didn't want to listen actually to the truth. Until one morning, I decided to do again this exercise and I committed to do the complicated exercise of leaving my ego at the door and being brutally honest with myself, even if it hurt. I made a commitment at that moment to I'm going to answer these questions just being true to what I really feel inside. I'm not going to lie, it took a very deep meditation and generating a space for a few hours to enter in that state of peace and calmness when I opened my journal and I started my reflection. At that moment, after generating that space, that openness without judgments or ego involved, I started freely writing thoughts, perceptions, and emotions that I was feeling. At some point in my writing, I saw it crystal clear as I wrote down the following: I'm afraid I will fail. I'm afraid I will fail because I'm not talented enough. And you know what? I'm just scared. I feel fear like big time. Like I feel fear. And let me tell you that as soon as I wrote the word fear, I really felt relief because I knew that I had found the reason for my constant blockage. That was it. And that fear had kept me on the sidelines for months. It was very, very subtle, but it slowly took control of my mind and kept my insecurities growing and growing and growing in this specific area of my life. And yes, I ended up making up excuses in the shape of over assessing the consequences, possibilities, scenarios, etc., in order to keep me in the status quo, in my comfort zone, because it was safer there. But I also wrote down the following question on my journal while I was doing that exercise: what if the real risk wasn't about making the wrong move, but rather not making any move at all? Wow. When I wrote down that question and I got that aha moment, it felt even scarier, at least for me, because it really felt even scarier to keep standing on the sidelines. I imagined my future self living a life full of regrets because I decided at some point not to get in the arena and prove to myself that I could actually fail and stand up and learn and fail again and get back up stronger and better than before. So for me, that profound visualization of my future self full of regrets was enough to decide at that moment to stop overthinking and having doubts. And I just committed to taking action, even if I thought it was imperfect. And that's why today I'm doing this podcast. So if you're experiencing a similar situation and you need the push to start taking action and leave the paralysis by analysis mode behind, these three questions that I just shared changed it all for me. So when I got to answer them without my ego involved, and after I did meditation and journaling reflection, they really helped me. So again, these questions were: one, why am I overthinking that much? Ask yourself that. Two, why am I caught here without being able to move forward? What is this blockage trying to tell me? And three, what if the real risk isn't about making a wrong move, but rather not making any move at all? Ask yourself these three questions after, again, a deep meditation. Calm yourself and try to answer those questions without your ego and fears involved. Try to go to the root cause of your blockage. I can assure you that you will find your answer. I hope these questions can really be useful for you as well. And recently, I was reading a great book I totally recommend from Dr. Benjamin Hardy called Be Your Future Self Now. And in one chapter of the book, he explained this paralysis by analysis very clearly. And I'd like to finish this episode today by reading straight from this book, which I think summarizes perfectly what getting in the arena means. And hopefully, it can give you the insights that you need to start taking action. So here it goes. By refusing to get in the arena, you are failing by default. Being outside the arena means that you are overthinking, caught in paralysis by analysis. You are letting fear win. Take, for example, the countless people who want to start a business or write a book or learn a language or, fill the blank. Any dream someone might have. The longer you hesitate to enter the playing field, the longer you delay the essential learning curve. You cannot deliberately practice on the sidelines. Outside the arena, you may feel safe, right? But it's the most dangerous place you could be. While outside, you remain ignorant of your own ignorance. You may be an armchair philosopher on whatever subject you are interested in, but you are not becoming a pro. Staying on the sidelines leads to a life of regrets. It takes courage, yes, to get into the game because once you are in the arena, you will fail. You'll immediately get hit in the face with the consequences of your actions and your ignorance. And although painful in the moment, this is exactly how you learn and adapt. Once you are in the arena and dealing with the realities of the situation, then you can engage in applied learning where you get filter information that you can use right now. Spectators are caught in paralysis by analysis, fear, and decision fatigue. And the longer that you wait to enter your arena, the more you limit your future self. Being in the arena means that you are finally facing and embracing reality. In the arena, you are no longer afraid of reality because it has become your instructor. That's all from me today. I hope you like this episode. Please like, rate, and subscribe, and even share it with a friend if you think that this content could be of help. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.